Hello, I am Siqaiyuk. I'll be reading The Mouse Story, or The Lazy Man Story. It is a Dena'ina Athabaskan story. Part 1. The way the people used to live was by setting up fish traps at the river mouths. They would set logs down as poles in an arch. Then they would pull the salmon out of the traps with nets. Everyone was working hard to gather fish for the winter. They would cut salmon into strips and smoke them, or dry them and place them in food caches. As the season changed, they would add fish to their winter ground caches. Each night they would place a layer of fish into a large pit, and during the night the fish would freeze. Then they would place on top of it a layer of dry grass and birch bark to keep it frozen until they took it out to eat. This is the way they gathered and stored salmon. There was one lazy man. He was not helping his village. He would walk around the village and watch everyone working, but he did not join in. He watched people collecting fish and did not help. He watched people cutting salmon into strips and did not help. He watched people adding wood chips to smoked salmon and hang them up on the beach to dry out, and still he did not help. When he was walking along the river bank, he saw a mouse. The mouse was holding a fish egg in its mouth. The mouse was struggling to get over a large fallen log. It was hopping, trying to jump up and over the log to its home burrow. Seeing the mouse struggle, the lazy man felt pity for the mouse. He bent down and picked up the mouse, helping it over the log. The mouse ran off into the forest to place the fish egg in its food store for winter. That winter, the food became spoiled, and scavengers broke into their food stores. The people became hungry and weak. They started to become sick. The lazy man was not sure what to do, so he went walking toward the mountains. In times of stress, or when looking for answers, especially spiritual ones, the people would walk to the mountains for answers. As he was walking, he came upon a brush shelter. There was smoke coming out from the roof of the shelter, but there was no doorway. "Come in, we've been expecting you," said a kind, elder woman's voice. "Turn around 3 times the way the sun moves through the sky, then come inside." The lazy man did this, and when he was done turning around, a doorway had appeared. He pushed a hanging fir to the side and entered. There was a large old woman sitting next to a raised fire at the center of the shelter. "My husband will be home soon," said the large old woman. The lazy man warmed himself by the fire. He could feel the ground shake, and several sparks of fire flew out from the disturbance. "Ah, my husband is coming," said the woman. The skin doorway was swung aside, and a giant man walked into the shelter. "Hello, we know why you are here," said the giant man. "I am Mouse's relative, Gujun. I am the mouse relative. I am related to all the animals. You are lazy, but you took pity on me and helped me when I needed it, so now I will help you in return." Upon saying this, Gujun went to the storage chests along the wall of the shelter. He took out a piece of leather that was about the size of his hand. He pinched bits of meat from many animals and placed them in the leather. Then he folded the leather over the bits of food and placed a few down feathers on top of the folded leather, then continued to fold it in on all the sides and finally tied it shut with cords. "Take this with you. Just as you reach your village, take this pack and lay it out in the ground, then sprinkle the down feathers over it. Then get your villagers to help carry the food. It will be enough for you and your people to make it through the winter until you hunt more game." The lazy man followed Gujun's directions, thus saving his people and his village. This sukdu, or story, teaches the importance of treating all animals respectfully. It also teaches the cultural ideal of wealthy individuals being generous and sharing their resources with their community. That is it for the mouse story. Thank you for subscribing, liking, and sharing my channel with people you think would like it also. Watching my videos all the way to the end truly supports my creative endeavors on YouTube, on the YouTube algorithm. For those of you who want to support me more directly, please consider buying my artwork and creations from Etsy and digital books and short stories from Smashwords, many of which are free, like the one I just read, The Mouse Story. For anyone who wants to support me in becoming a full-time artist and content creator, please consider becoming a Patreon supporter. Links, as always, in the description. Keep it indigenous, Kuyana, and Chickenick. Thank you.